was racing motorcycles from the time I was 18 to 31 or so. I started coming here when I was 32 years old on a three-wheeler. I was already middle-aged. I had an 84 first, then I built an 85, and then I built an 86, which I raced here for, oh God, 11, 12 years. And then I won like 10 years straight against...
A lot of people don't know about you. They think TC racing engines, and it's
I rode a little bit.
Builds motors too, but man, you had some success. I remember watching you. 350X too. Man, that thing was fast.
I had a dual carb 350X.
Oh, it was ridiculously fast. Faster than the two-strokes.
It was 85, 86.
Yeah.
I went to Porterville, California with Lance Gellner and his dad. We went, I raced at Boyd, Texas. And then I had the race in the bag. I was all alone out front, come into a corner, bent sideways, wadded the thing up, over the bars I went. Finished second or third. That there belongs to Mac Moore.
Yeah.
He's 60 years old now. And Mac was a pro, racing back with Curtis back in the day in 85, 86. At one time at Loretta Lynn's, you can look in a magazine where at Loretta's, Mac was the man to beat.
Yeah, he was really good.
Because there was some camelback that he could do that nobody else could do that Curtis was struggling with, but Mac won the first moto or something, and then he bit it, and that was his moment of glory.
I remember he was good, and now his son's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
These three-wheelers, they keep on. Did you think that would happen? We've got a three-wheeler movement happening nowadays.
There's a bunch of them here, which is pretty cool, you know. I've fixed a few of them, but the problem is finding parts for these 30-year-old machines. Parts don't exist, but they're getting them running and they're having a lot of fun, and it's pretty cool to look back at what was a great sport at one time, and I imagine they'll be continuing this for as long as they can keep them running. You know, the three-wheelers the government got involved in, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and people don't realize that Al Gore was the man behind that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, Al Gore traveled around the country with the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
I know Barbara Walters had a lot to do with that.
Barbara Walters and Al Gore.
Will the three-wheeler movement keep going, or is this a little 5-year wave that's just neat that happened and then fades out again?
I think it'll stay popular for many years yet. I still like it. There's guys that are, there's an 18-year-old kid here from California named Tanner Pease that came out here with Rob Selvey. And he's a nice kid, he goes fast. I met this kid this week, and I'm going to watch him go today. The reason everybody likes coming here is because of the atmosphere. We have a lake, we have a beautiful track which is permanent. One of the big negatives of our sport is we don't have permanent tracks. Everybody gets permission to use a piece of land for about a week. They go out and landscape it, try to control the dust, make a few jumps, and they call it a racetrack. But so we need tracks like Daytona, Talladega, the Brickyard 400, and of course this is one of them. This is one permanent track. We had Chillicothe, Ohio back in the 80s, which was a permanent ATV track, which was similar to this. But everybody likes coming here because of the family environment. They come here with friends, they leave with friends, probably more friends.
Fisher family, Bud Fisher. Is he a competitor that you didn't like because he builds motors, or tell me your relationship with Bud Fisher?
All the engine builders that have been around a while, sometimes you're a little bit maybe concerned about an engine builder that might be doing what you're doing, but after a while, when you compete against each other and you pay your dues, you earn a great respect for someone that doing similar things to what you do, and you know what effort it takes for you to work till 2 o'clock in the morning or all night, week after week, and then come out here and and have some stuff that wins, and vice versa. So, you know, maybe you think that you have attained a black belt in engine building, and other people do too. So you earn a respect for them that they can beat you if they put their mind to it. And Bud was always involved in making. His little forte was chassis making chassis for all these little minis and stuff. And, so we didn't do that kind of stuff. I just dealt with motors, period. I didn't do anything but motors. So, you know, you start talking to me about chassis, it's pretty Greek to me. I did work for, you know, Travis Spader, the Jackson boy, Benny Jackson, and all of his friends, Joe Bird, John Natale, Dustin Wimmer, Pat Brown, Thomas Brown, the Jansen boy, Doug Gust. And I suppose that, you know, there's you have a relationship with some of these riders that kind of put you up on a wave and you go for a hell of a ride. Maybe not just the racing, but the travel that goes along with it. So, you know, probably the first wave for me was the Gellner family. You know, we traveled out west, we traveled to Texas, we went to California, had a blast, you know, had some success, and then the next person was Travis Spader and his dad. We called his dad Big Ed. And Big Ed was my best friend. We had a blast. Did work for 12 years. Ed called me one day. He said, "Hey Tom," he says, "I hit the lotto for 30 grand." He said, "We're gonna go racing." You know, we went all over the place, and Ed burned all that money. I did a lot of work for a lot of fun people. Then, of course, in 1999, I got put together with Doug Gust, and that was probably my most memorable wave beyond, with being in the spotlight of the pro class for 5 years.
Broke a lot of records. Historic things happened.
We took in, Doug won the championship in '99 on a two-stroke. I was an okay two-stroke engine builder, but it wasn't my claim to fame. Four-stroke engine building was more of my passion, so I wanted to build a four-stroke. I thought I could put it in the winner's circle. Doug was a little bit cautious about it. 2001, I bought a brand new DRZ 400, and we had Walsh build a 250R chassis that would accommodate that motor, and we took it to Etchecani in Georgia, and we had both bikes ready to go. Doug went out and practiced on the two-stroke, he practiced on the four-stroke, and basically never got off of it. We won the first moto, and we had the second moto won, but the DRZ was like a 400X. It had a remote tank, like a you know, the early Yamahas, and there was an oil line that went back to the motor, and it burst, and it started putting oil on top of the motor. So Doug shut it off while we were winning, and so it was basically history from then on. And the next time we raced it, we won the motocross. We won flat track with it. And that was a Grand National event where we had to run TT and we had to run motocross, both. And for our start for motocross, we'd reach into a bucket, pull out a clothespin, you know, 1 through 20. And this would be our downfall of why, you know, we finished like number 3 instead of winning a championship, because we'd go to a motocross, which is our strongest event. We went there to win. You know, I prepared the motor to be fast enough to win. Doug, of course, did his part. And it rains all weekend, and you reach in that bucket and you pull out number 18 for the start. Well, you just sealed your fate. You're going to come out of the first corner in 18th place.
Sucking mud.
You're going to pass, maybe get a 7th or 8th. And then that's your starting position for the second moto. You end up with a win. You get a 4th overall at your strongest event, which you need to win if you're going to go after this championship, because TTs were a good event for us, but not a great. Our motocross was our great event that we were planning on dominating, but we didn't dominate in some of these rainy events. We'd reach in that bucket, and it happened to us like twice in a row. 18 or 19 or 20. That we damaged our points lead because of weather. And today with, you know, Wienen and Hetrick running in the motocross today, you qualify.
Yeah.
And so if you're the top 3 fastest motocrossers, you get the first 3 picks on the gate, whether it's rainy or dry. And if we would have had that, that would have been really great. Would have been cool. Travis won in 91, 92, and then there was Brad Fiesler, and there was Mark Burns, Tom Miller, and then crazy Jeremy Schell in 96, 97. And those were all my guys. 95, I built all top 10 4-strokes, 95. And then Goodman with Curtis won in 97 and 98, I think both years on a 300. If I'm right, I think that's how it went. I enjoy my job. I enjoy meeting people and doing work for some of these kids that race. It's enjoyable for me. Got to do something. I like to be productive.
Right.
You know, I don't want to just stay home and.
Good for you. Yeah, you've done a lot of good for the sport.
If you could put feathers in your hats of things you can look back and say you accomplished in what you did.
Yeah.
You know, the first 4-stroke to ever win an Open Pro event was Tim Weaver. That was 1988 when we were here running Open Pro. So that was the first 4-stroke to ever win a pro event, and I had some input with that one. And then Doug Gus was the first one to win a 250 pro event with a 4-stroke in motocross, and then also TT. Both.
And the first to do it on an electric start vehicle.
Yeah.
No one would consider running something electric.
Being that the Grand Nationals are gone now, I can say that I had the most 4-stroke Grand National wins, but that's meaningless today.
It seems like it's not as important nowadays as it used to be. Am I right?
I suppose too many kids are on their cell phones that we didn't.
In the 80s, it was such a important almost. I don't know if that's the right word, but it was fun, but it seemed like it was more meaningful.
The culture's changing a little bit. You know, you got. When I was young, everybody played baseball with their parents going to the ball games, and the neighbors and their kids going to the ball games. It gets a little bit lopsided when you don't have 2 parents teaching you everything you need to know, and I suppose the same thing happens with sports. The 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers. You know, you basically have to be a family to do it. You know, the father has to chip in and.
I'm a fan. I'm a TC fan. Even though I never run your engines, I'm still a respectful fan.
Yep. Thanks, John.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Cool.
The good old days.
Yeah.